What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-taper on my boy, so stay tuned. First, we're gonna start off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place, making sure we have a nice and neat silhouette. Now that we're done combing everything in place and saturating the hair, we can then move on to the back taper and use our gold effects to create our first guideline. Now that we're done creating our first guideline, we can then create our second guideline using our no guard all the way open. You always want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Now that we're done setting in our guideline, we're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Don't be afraid to stretch the skin with your opposite hand, it's going to give you more room to blend. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we could then move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. You also want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Also, don't forget, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and follow on the Instagram down below. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard and its lever, we can then move on to the half guard and try to erase it completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This is going to help us connect to the lower guards and also use our 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and try to erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a fade line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open would definitely help. Now we're going to be moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us blend into the top bulk, especially when you're using comb overs and pushbacks. We're also using our comb to feed the hair into the clipper and flicking out with our guard as much as possible. Now that we're done with the back taper, we could go ahead and move on to the sides and use our gold FX to create our first guideline. We're also going to go ahead and get our foil shavers ready to shave off the sideburns and remove the stubble as much as possible. Here we're detailing the back taper as much as possible before we line up the sides. Now we're moving on to the side taper, and we're going to create our second guideline using our no guard all the way open. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we could then move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Now that we're done setting in our other guideline, we could then move on to our clipper comb method and debulk the sides. We're then going to use our 2 guard all the way open and our 3 guard all the way open to help us debulk and blend into the lower guards. Now that we're done detailing, we're then going to use our gold FX to line up the sides. I usually start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch near the ear area. Now that we're done lining up the sides, we could go ahead and move on to our C cup and start off at the bottom using the corners of the blade and work our way to the top arch. You also want to make sure you're not pressing too hard, especially when you're using the corners of the blade, because you could bite them with the teeth of the trimmer. Moving out to the front line, we're going to use our gold FX to make them as crispy as possible. Also, we're going to use our comb to comb all the baby hairs down and debulk them with the one guard all the way open. When you're using your trimmers, you always want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Another recommendation I have is to use hairspray if the hair is shifting too much when you're lining them up. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and follow in the Instagram down below. We're also going to shave off all his facial hair on the sides and make his goatee as crispy as possible. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-fade comb over on my boy, so stay tuned. We started off by pinning up the hair and debulking the sides with the 3-guard all the way open. I'm also making sure I feed the hair into the clipper using the comb, and I flick out with my guard as much as possible. Now that we're done debulking the sides, we can move on to our Goat FX and create our first guideline on his side temple. Now that we're done botting him out with our Goat FX, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Now that we're done setting in our second guideline, we can then slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Make sure to use your corners because it is a small area. Now that we're done setting in our third guideline and softening up the line with our lever, we can then move on to our half guard and try to erase the line completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This is going to help us blend into the bulk on top. Now that we're done using our two guard, we can move on to our clipper over comb method and complete our silhouette. When using your clipper over comb method, you want to make sure you use your horizontal cuts to debulk and your vertical cuts to blend. And always keep the comb at a certain degree and angle which is needed. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram. Now using our three guard all the way open, we're going to go ahead and flick out as much as possible using our comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Now to help us blend between the two guard all the way open and the one guard all the way open, we're going to use our 1.5 guard and use the lever to erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your one guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help. Now that we're done with our side taper, we can move on to the sideburns of the beard and go ahead and start to begin to blend with our no guard all the way open. When you're blending the sideburns of the beard, it's pretty much opposite of the side taper. You're just going backwards and upside down. Now we're moving on to our one guard all the way open after blending with our no guard all the way open. Before we line up his beard, we're going to make sure we lay his head down and lay all the hairs down. And then we're going to use our Goat FX to start off at the bottom and work our way to the sides. When you're near the side area, you want to make sure to be careful not to pinch the side of the neck with the teeth of the trimmer, because there is extra skin there, so you could bite them. Make sure to comb down the hair with your comb, especially when you're near the beard area. The hairs are usually a lot curlier. done lining up the beard, we're going to go back to our side taper and detail as much as possible before we do our C-cup. Now that we're done blending out the sides and the beard, we can move on to our gold effects and create our C-cup. I usually start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. It's always best to go as slow as possible and take as much time as possible here, especially when you're near the C-cup area. You just want to make sure you etch that line in sharply. Now that we're done lining up our C-cup, we're going to move on to the back taper and use our gold FX to create our first guideline. Now that we're done building them out with our gold FX, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Once you're done setting in this guideline with the lever all the way open, you then want to slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we could then move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. As you guys can see, now that the line is soft enough with our lever, we can move on to our half guard and try to erase it completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. You also want to make sure you flick out as much as possible and soften up the line with your lever to get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Again, sometimes after using your 1.5 guard, there's still a faint line, so switching over to your one guard all the way open and using its corners will definitely help. Using our 3 guard all the way open, we're going to go ahead and go right above the occipital bone and make sure we flick out as much as possible to the top bulk. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 3 guard, we can move back to our 2 guard all the way open and begin to remove it completely. After softening up the line with our 2 guard all the way open, we're then moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're using the corners to flick out any dark spots that we see. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our clipper over comb method. Again, just like I said in the beginning, when I'm using my horizontal cuts, it's mainly to debulk, and also when I use my vertical cuts, it's mainly to blend. Now that we're done with our rough draft of the back taper, we can then move on to our gold FX and continue to line up the back of the ear. I always start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch, especially using the corners of the blade. Also, don't be afraid to move the ear out of the way, especially when you're lining up near this area. Now that we're done detailing, we can then move on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shade gel so that the blade could glide better. You also want to make sure you apply enough near the neck area because the hair is usually thicker there. Now that we're done applying gel, we can then move on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. As you guys can see, I'm using my opposite hand to make the skin as tight as possible, and I'm also keeping the blade at a 45-degree angle so it lowers the likelihood of you cutting it. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on the Instagram. I'm also going to be doing his eyebrows and his C-cup area with the blade. Near the eyebrow area, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible because the looser the skin, the more likelihood of you cutting them.